So let's be real here for a minute. The queen is a bad bitch. The queen is the most powerful piece, and if you can trap it, you might win the game right away. And so I'm going to show you some examples of some cases of one side getting their queen trapped, some of them right in the middle of the board, which is pretty surprising because when you're in the middle of the board, it seems like you can move around. But, you know, sometimes you can just trap your best bitch. It's punishment. You know, if she's cheating on you, you got to catch her. So in this game, the world champion, Mikhail Tal, well, former world champion, played the move g5, and much to Black's shock, the queen has no safe squares. So it's basically checkmating the opponent's queen. All the squares are under control. You can see the rooks in the center are controlling everything. So sometimes you just get busted. And when you get busted, it can be pretty harsh punishment. So this is punishment for putting the pieces on bad squares. g5, take. The pawn is attacking the queen, and the queen has no safe place to go. The bishop covers this, the bishop covers e7, and that's all she wrote. So here Black decided to give up the queen for only a rook, which isn't nearly enough material. White went queen to h4, and then rook to h1, and now with the bishop covering the f8 square and queen h7 mate coming up, this isn't even worth playing because it's going to be mate next move, so he didn't even bother to continue. All right, let's go on to the next one. This was a game played by Mamajarov, who's number 3 in the world, and he just shocked his opponent by just playing the move knight to h4. And look around the board. Look at these bishops here. These bishops on d2 and e2. They're just slicing through, controlling every square. The knight controls f5. The knight controls g6. The knight controls e4, d5, and b5, and the pawn controls c5 and e5. So the queen actually has no safe squares here at all, covered by the bishop, by the bishop, by the knight, by the bishop, by the knight, by a knight, by a pawn, by a knight, by a pawn, by a bishop and a knight, by the rook. So by a bishop over here. So the queen just got trapped really early on in the game. That's a really embarrassing way to lose. And the guy with Black who lost the game is in the top 40 in the world. So that was really, really embarrassing to go down like that. But I've had my fair share of games like that, so you know, I know how it feels. So in this game, Magnus Carlsen, the world champion, was playing Black and just played the move g5 against also somebody in the top 10 in the world, even though this was just a blitz game. And usually people don't like to advance pawns in front of their king because they feel like they might expose their king. But in this case, notice how all the squares are covered here, and the queen has nowhere to go. It's just completely trapped. So Grishchuk, playing white, had no choice but to resign. Let's go on to the next one. All right, here's one from one of my games. My opponent just surprised me with a really obvious move and just trapped my queen. Just played bishop a5, and I thought, oh wow, a6 is covered, c6 is covered, d6 is covered by the e5 pawn. Every single square is covered, so I'm just simply losing my queen for nothing. And if I only get one piece for it, that's not nearly enough. I can't play with only a bishop 3.5 for a whole queen. So bishop a5 was just a simple queen trap which was forced from before. So I'll show you a really similar example, identical example. Here there's also the move bishop to a5. And the queen, look at how it has all the squares covered. It's basically just like checkmating the opponent's queen. Rather than checkmating the king, that's all that's going on here. So a6 is covered, c6 is covered by the white pawns, b7 is covered by the knight. So every square is covered. Knight, rook, bishop, the pawn covers this, the pawn covers this, the pawn covers c7, and the knight covers b7. So everything is covered here, and bishop a5 just wins the queen. So you have to really be careful to not forget about the queen. It's such an important piece that if it drops off, you might be in trouble. Or you probably will be in trouble. Your opponent will be in trouble if it drops off for them. So here, I wanted to cut off the queen's ability to retreat. And so I played this sneaky move, bishop to d6, pinning the knight to the rook. And so they tried to defend it, and now I just played rook to e4. And I think my opponent was totally shocked by the fact that their queen can't go anywhere. My rook covers everything here. My pawn covers d5. My queen covers all of these squares, and if the queen goes to d1, I just take with the bishop. d2 is covered by my rook. So every single square is just covered here after rook to e4. And the queen just gets trapped in a very weird way right in the middle of the board. So that's a definite cautionary tale. Just to watch out for that, and if you're the aggressor, then look for those opportunities to trap your opponent's queen when you notice that it's short on squares. All right, let's go on to the next one. Here's one where the white queen is trapped over here on h7. It has no squares, so we can just go knight to g5, and now it has nowhere to move to. Just can't go anywhere. So they take the rook, we capture the queen, and then here we just go queen to h8, and then we win the h7 pawn, and we have a winning position. Let's go on here. Okay, here's another case where the queen on a7 has really nowhere to go. And when we just play this move rook to b7, look at how all the squares are controlled. The bishop controls a6, the rook controls everything here, our e3 pawn controls d4. So there's not much to be said here. The queen is just simply trapped. All of its squares are controlled. And after bishop takes e4, we recapture with queen takes e4. And here, basically, the queen can escape with queen c5, but then we just pick off the knight. And again, we're going to be up, since we're going to be up a full piece with a continuing attack, we have a decisive advantage. So let's go on to the next one. Here's a surprising one. Garry Kasparov, the former world champion for 16 years, was playing black here and decided to play the move knight to a5. And I think white was totally shocked that the queen has no safe squares to go to. Every single square is controlled. The pawn controls this. The queen controls this. The d5 square is controlled. The a4 square is controlled. Every single thing is controlled here. So there's nowhere for the queen to go. It just so happens that every single thing is under control, and all that can really be done is just to either resign or basically just to be down a queen pretty much. So white decided to resign already on the 14th move. Pretty embarrassing. And this player who was playing white later became a grandmaster, or may have already been. So let's go on to the next one. Here's another one played by Garry Kasparov, the world champion. Former world champion, I should say. He played this move, queen to b7, defending his bishop so that he could slide his rook back and trap the queen. He's also attacking the pawn on e4, so a real multi-purpose queen move. And here, bishop to f3 was played. Probably some other move should have been played to try to save the queen. And now rook to a8 was played, and the queen was just simply trapped. It just can't get out. It's basically like, you know, having your head stuffed in a duffel bag. You can't get out. You're just stuck. And if they play the move e5, we have a nice kind of typical strategy called a desperado, where before capturing a piece or before doing anything valuable that we might do, we sacrifice our own piece to get as much material as possible. So here we sacrifice our queen to pick off a full bishop. And then now we capture the undefended queen. Let's go on to another one. And here's the last one. This is one from one of my games. I was white against a grandmaster. And I saw the queen here on g7. I just thought, wow, that's a vulnerable queen. Maybe I can attack it with rook to g4. But then the queen can escape with queen to e7. So I thought, what if I just kind of tweak that idea and play a stronger version of the same idea? So I can go d6. And the point is, now my pawn is controlling both of these squares. So now the queen can't run away. The queen can't run to e7 anymore. My pawn covers that square. So with everything off limits, there's not much to do. So my opponent played rook c6, and then I played rook g4, and I think he just kind of realized here, it was kind of like a cold shower for him. He just realized, uh-oh, my queen's trapped. It's just game over. There's nothing to be done here. So that was one of my best practical cases of getting a queen trap in a real game. So I was glad to have found the idea of just removing all the squares for the opponent's queen, and once they weren't able to get out, they had nothing to play for. So now we're going to move on to looking over some kind of more general principles like that can be applied in middle games, such as really not leaving a brother behind, not leaving a piece behind, basically not playing passively with any of your pieces. You're the CEO of your company. Don't have any passive employees. Don't have any lazy employees. Make sure everybody's working and make sure everybody's busy. So we'll move on to that in a moment.